And that microclimate forecast, you know, the surf was more like glass today. There's hardly any waves action at all and no high surf advisories by any means. Morro Rock right there and a few high clouds off the coast. Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Jim Castillo here, and we're just watching a little bit of a system off the coast here. Some high clouds you can see out here. Limited moisture with it. That is moving our way as we get into Wednesday. And then we look down to the south. A lot of clouds here moving into Baja California, but most of California right now really clear. And then you get to this area of high pressure that's kept us warm. 12 days in a row where we've seen some 70s and 80s in the area and that offshore wind. So that high is breaking down eventually, and we'll watch this area here. Here's the jet stream right over us, and it's a subtropical jet. And you'll see this area of cooler weather and also that low off the coast. See how that blue moves in here by Wednesday and Thursday? That's when we'll cool down in all areas in the 50s and 60s as we get into Wednesday all the way through the end of the week. And then limited moisture with that low, though. And we'll put the weather pattern into motion. You can watch these are clouds out here, and then watch as it moves our way. And we'll start to see the clouds increasing as we get into Wednesday, and maybe some light showers or even some drizzle within this later Wednesday and into early Thursday. And then this system really keeps some clouds around, but that moisture moves on to the east of us, and that system really ramps up as it pushes out into the Plain States and the heartland. 69, it was cooler today in Santa Barbara, and temperatures will continue around the California Valley in the 60s, 65 for that high today, but Santa Ynez is 75, 77 in San Luis Obispo, and Cambria coming in at 64. So a little cooler inland and also right at the coastal areas. Temperatures right now from 63 in Santa Maria and Paso Robles coming in at 63, 64 at Lompoc, and temperatures in Santa Barbara right at about 64 degrees, and the wind has been up just a little bit. Look at that, 18 miles an hour, kind of variable from easterly, which is an offshore wind, and occasionally that shifts around a little bit to the west as you get closer to the coast. But area temperatures tomorrow still above average, 70s from Paso Robles all the way through San Luis Obispo and Santa Maria and Lompoc and Santa Barbara right about 69. And then temperatures around the north coast here, 64 in Cambria, Cayucas coming in at about 64, and Morro Bay at 67. And temperatures all the way through the 5 cities, Arroyo Grande coming in at 69, so a little bit cooler than where we have been, and then Napomo coming in at 71. And then the south coast temperatures once again not as hot as it was this past weekend, but Solvang about 75, Goleta coming in at 71, and Carpinteria coming in at about 69 degrees. All right, 7-day forecast looks like this. Temperatures falling down into the lower 60s Thursday and Friday. That best chance of drizzle and fog in Paso Robles will be on Thursday. San Luis Obispo, look at those numbers, 70s tomorrow, then we're down into the 60s until this weekend. We get closer to 70 again. We start to warm back up by Saturday and Sunday. Santa Maria, temperatures cooling down to the 60s on Wednesday and staying there until we get to next Monday, and Santa Barbara will be in the 60s most of that 7-day forecast.